cannot give everybody grace. That's the first lesson of this video. Everybody does not deserve your heart. Everybody does not deserve your presence. Everybody does not deserve your grace. Everybody doesn't deserve access to your anointing. Stay guarded in this season. Stay in your Bible. Stay on your knees, okay? Stay in that prayer room, okay? Because it was nothing but God that got me through all of these situations at once, y'all. It was nothing but God. I have been going through the muck because I got a lot, y'all. It's been a lot, and I feel like everything that I just went through was for me to share with someone else, because I feel like God constantly uses me as a testimony. He constantly uses me as proof. He constantly uses me as, you know, evidence that he is in the neighborhood. Like, seriously. So it was just emotionally, mentally, the motivation, like, it was gone, y'all. It was completely gone. Like, I allowed, like, it wasn't, I'm not going to say completely gone, because there was still an aspect of me that knew that I still needed to show up. I still was posting content. I wasn't posting as much as I usually do, which we gotta get back in the field, y'all. I am just so excited. I'm so grateful, number one, to God. But I don't want this video to be long and boring. Let's just get into it. I just left from Staples because I had my first speaking event paid, y'all. Paid. So that was exciting. And that's what I'm saying. You could be in the midst of chaos. You could be in the midst of, you know, trials, tribulations, and God is still going to show you. Like, God is still going to show the world. That right there, that's mine. Touch not my anointed. For real. And I'm just grateful. This is not like a boast or an ego boost or any of those things. It is really a realization. Like, it is really clarity for me, because a lot of these things I knew, but it's like when you see it in real time, which I've seen, but like, it's like, I can't explain it. It's like no experience surprised me like the way that God comes through. Like, how can I explain it? You'll never get used to the way that God comes through for you. Like, I've had things that I've gone through in life where I knew it was nothing but God, right? But it's like, you know that, but then you be in the midst of another tribulation and God comes through so crazily that it's just like, wow, I really, you know, like, we will never really know God's capacity to come through. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Consistent, but anyway, had my first speaking event. I wasn't really feeling it, so at the last minute, I ordered some blazers off of Amazon. The tan one I didn't really like, so I had to return it. In the midst of that, y'all, the way that all of this went down is crazy. Like, I don't even know where to start. So in the midst of all of that, I was going through what I would like to try to say was an attempt at a smear campaign or like a humiliation ritual, only because I had gotten into it. First of all, there was this whole situation that happened like 2 or 3 years ago with me, one of my close friends, and one of my family members. It was my cousin, right? So, and this is not no messy. I don't want to get messy. Like, I don't want to mention nobody's name. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But a few years ago, there was an incident where these two chicas got together and were basically talking about me on a phone call with each other. Me and my friend, which used to be one of my closest friends, like family, we are no longer friends anymore, but me and her had gotten into a stupid little like disagreement. She ran back to the ops, basically telling the ops everything that goes on in my life, like a smear campaign, trying to smear me, make me look bad, etc., etc. It got back to me because, of course, that's my family member, so they brought the information back to me. But this family member literally has a knack for always inserting themselves into bad things that happen in my life. It's like, when good things happen for me, that family member is nowhere to be found, right? Wrote a book, they wasn't there. Launched a business, wasn't there. Bought a Benz, wasn't there. Like, like just over the different, successful chapters of my life, that family member was never there. But it's always when it's bad news, they are the messenger. So I always have felt some type of way about that. Yes, because at this point, y'all seen that post 2026? Because at this point, we coming for the messenger too. I want smoke with the messenger as well. I want all the smoke with the messenger too at this point. Because the messenger be just as messy, right? So boom, she was the messenger, blah, like yada, yada, yada. She came back to me. She was like, yeah, this person came to me and said you did X, Y, and Z. Which was completely false, y'all. If I told y'all the whole situation, y'all jaws would drop. And maybe one day, if enough of y'all want the story time and it's relevant, I'll give y'all the story time. But just know that disagreement was over something so dumb. Like, it was literally me setting boundaries in the friendship because I felt like the person was like manipulative. Like, and that's exactly what they did. They went and manipulated the family member to make them feel sorry for them, had a whole conversation about me. And then when I got both of them on a 3-way call, because it came out that y'all both had smoke, y'all both was saying things that were bad, they started arguing with each other about who said about me. At that point, I cut both of them off, right? But this is where I messed up. I had went through something when I was in another country. I had went through a little situation. It was emotionally like, this is what I'm saying, y'all. Like, I feel like I have been under some intense spiritual warfare. And I really believe it's only because where life is about to take me. And if you're a chosen one, a star seed, or divinely protected, or, you have that connection with God, you understand where I'm coming from. Right now this has been the most spiritual warfare that I've ever encountered, even after I got baptized. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of this did start. No, I was going to say, even after I got baptized, I didn't feel this much and this heavy of spiritual warfare. So I've been going through some intense spiritual warfare. Okay, so with that situation, they ended up getting on the phone. They arguing goofy, very goofy, y'all. In my opinion, that shit's goofy. That stuff is goofy. No shade. Like, I'm all here for the empowerment, uplifting, inspiring, all of those things. But my thing is, at a certain point, you got to call a hater a hater. You got to call a spade a spade. So in my mind, it was envy and jealousy. When comments like she thinks she all of that kind of stuff, that's nothing but envy. That's nothing but envy, right? So when that little situation happened, I had cut the person off. But then I went through another situation and I felt like I didn't have nobody to talk to. I felt lonely. And like I said, this person that was my friend was a very close friend to me. That was like my diary. So imagine my surprise when they run back to somebody that we've already had conversations about, aka my family member. We've already had conversations about this person, right? And when we had conversations about this person, I told you I had a lot of disdain for the person because of all the messy stuff that they've always brought to me when it came to my life. If it's a rumor, they're bringing it to me. If it's something somebody said, they're bringing it to me. If it's anything negative, nasty, messy, they're bringing it to me. And I've already relayed that to the close friend. So that was the reason why both of them basically got cut off. But I ended up forgiving the close friend because, again, I felt like, okay, that was a little situation, little misunderstanding. Y'all know me. I'm a very forgiving person. That's just how my heart is set up because I know that I've changed tremendously. So I have the nag for assuming that others can change just as much, but that's not always the case. Like, you cannot give everybody grace. That's the first lesson of this video. Everybody does not deserve your heart. Everybody does not deserve your presence. Everybody does not deserve your grace. They literally don't. Unfortunately, even Jesus walked away from people when it got too sticky icky, right? So I'm a firm believer in you got to do what you got to do for you with grace, though. Like, never have a hardened heart. Never be bitter. Like, I'm not bitter. That's why I waited so long to tell this story. Like, because it's like I'm not bitter anymore. I'm not mad at nobody. I wish everybody the best genuinely. I really wish them the level up. I really do. And I hope they get that hate out their heart. But anyway, so I ended up forgiving the friend. Me and the friend was rocking. But I started noticing little things about the friend. But that's the other thing, y'all. That's number 2. So number 1 was everybody do not deserve your presence, your grace, none of that. A lot of people don't even deserve to be in your energy, for real, for real. Number 2 is trust your intuition always, especially if you're like somebody that is really focused on wellness and like gut health and energy and, you know, grounding yourself, affirmations. Like if you're in the right mental space, because some people be trusting their intuition, meanwhile their gut is full of stuff that you can't even think straight. Because if you know, you know, your gut microbiome, that's what it's all called. All of that is connected to your mindset. All of that is connected to the way you see things. All of that is connected to the way you handle things, right? And we can do deeper videos on that too. I've done some on Instagram, but I don't think I've done like a long form, so I can do that. But you should be trusting your instinct. If something tells you something is off, stop putting it to the side. And I think a lot of us that grew up as people pleasers too, a lot of us that grew up like as people pleasers, oh my, it's so hard. I feel like it's so hard for us to trust our instinct a lot of the time, because we are blame takers. Like no matter what may go wrong, I feel like we always place the blame on ourselves. And that's also a sign of being a leader. If you just take responsibility and rectify. Like I think we go right to, all right, what part did I play? How can we resolve it? Because, you know, that's how a leader thinks. That's how somebody that is, you know, solution focused thinks. So in my mind, I'm not thinking that these little things were that big of a deal. For example, copying me so bad. Like every little thing that I want to do, this person will turn around and say they want to do the same thing. No identity at all. Dressing like me, using my lingo, using even my like daily what are the things called? You know how like your morning routine or whatever, like what you're drinking, what you're eating. Like I'm telling y'all, just really copying. But in my mind, that is my close friend. So I'm like, okay, twinning, like, you know, I'm not that type. Like I'm not. I want all the girlies doing. So I really was ignoring it. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I do feel as though it was God trying to show me certain things, right? So you know how they say, okay, so all of that happened. I had been also telling the close friend, listen, this person, I think that because the person, my family member started a business or whatever. So naturally, I'm already kind of established in business. I have so much further to go, but thank God I don't feel like I'm at the beginning, you know? So I felt like, let me look at the camera. So I felt like, okay, so yeah, the family member started a business. After they started a business, they started sending me flyers and this and that, right? Naturally, didn't we just have a whole little situation? I feel as though you're a hater. Why am I going to feed into helping you build your business and all of that when I know you don't like me? I know that the love that you be showing is fake, which is no love, because again, when I was building my businesses, when I was popping out with my success, I did not see this person. This person was not hitting me up saying congratulations. This family member was not hitting me up saying good job, I'm proud of you. None of that. It wasn't until I became established and the world started supporting me, other people, strangers started supporting me, that this person now wants to basically, I feel like it was a little bit of clout chasing. I'm not gonna lie, no shade. But anyway, basically this person wants me to help them, support them, and naturally I would, but I didn't like what you did. It left a bad taste in my mouth, so absolutely not, of course. I'm not gonna help you with something you didn't help me with, number one. Number two, you're a hater, so why would I help you with anything? So that became an issue because they were sending me flyers, sending me their products. I don't know if they wanted me to see it, like, but I started to notice after that this person was also in competition with me. Like, I don't know what it is about me that creates a lot of competition. And y'all, I'm the type of person that when something happens, I really be wanting to get to the bottom of it. So I've been watching mad videos about spiritual warfare, destiny swapping, envy, jealousy, like witches, warlocks, because I really want to get to the bottom of what about my energy or my presence makes a person have, like, want to be in, it's envy, jealousy, or competition. There's only a small percentage of people that get around me and get inspired and motivated. Like, and I think it, like I said, it's the current climate that we're in. It's the current atmosphere. It's the current, like, I don't know if it's because everybody has been struggling. I don't know if it's just the collective. I feel like it's the collective demonic energy that has been circulating. So if you're not grounded in, God and like your divine energy and really have been doing the work before now, you're done. You're confused. You're in chaos. Your mind is spinning. You have no peace. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like that is definitely a part of it. So anyway, so I started this person was sending me the flyers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I wasn't reposting them. So one day I seen something on Facebook. So I went to the person's Facebook. I started noticing that they were like copying me. Like, it was like they would look through my things and then like rebut everything I was saying or doing or trying to be like me. Or I started off wanting to get everybody to the finish line, wanting to get everybody at least to the starting line where you start at, self-awareness, shadow work, etc. But everybody don't want to go to the starting line. Everybody don't want to make it to the finish line. And I got to realize that, right? So I'm like, okay, I feel like this person is being weird. So I hit them up because I already knew that I already had hostility towards them from a situation, a chapter that never closed, right? A chapter that never closed. Meanwhile, in the midst of all this, I'm working on rebuilding the relationship, restoring the relationship between me and the friend that, we had cut ties because of that, even though they had already proven that they were a snake. So a lot of the stuff that happened afterwards, y'all, totally my fault. Totally my fault. I take full responsibility because a snake does not stop being a snake. Like that's a saying for a reason. I don't even know what the saying is, shedding their skin or whatever. Snakes are always going to be a snake. That's it. You can't, somebody that does something like, and I'm talking telling my personal business, things that I go through with my husband, etc. Financial, and a lot of it was lies because they were talking about financial information. I don't give nobody about my financial situation. Like, and we gonna make a video on that because there are certain things that you do not tell anybody. It's between you and God. That's it. Certain things God will place on your heart, and you ever have something happen and something inside of you saying, don't speak on that. Don't speak about that. Don't tell nobody that. That's nothing but God telling you, because that's what I'm saying right now. It's so demonic out here. The devil cannot stop your destiny. Understand that. But he can delay. And when he does delay, they're going to use the people around you, especially if you're spiritually protected and divinely connected, because you already know that everybody can't have your energy. You already know it's certain situations and atmospheres that you can no longer be in. That's another mistake that I made, though. Thinking that you can go back. Just like that J. Cole song that said, tell me what's this doing, mate, coming back when you escape. Drum and bass. Literally. Don't go back. That's why Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. Going backwards, you get frozen. And that's what happened with me. So I'm speaking from experience. Y'all know I'm going to always share my testimony in order to help somebody. I don't care who it, not who it hurts, but I don't care who has an issue with it. So meanwhile, where was I? So meanwhile, doing all of that, I started noticing little weird stuff about the friend. Me and the friend are building our relationship, but I'm trying not to have a heart and heart, because think about it. I'm somebody that is truly, genuinely trying to evolve, trying to be better, do better, act better, feel better, have more peace internally. Peace only comes with resolving situations, not having it in the back of your mind. So in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking the little stuff is a little strange, but I'm also thinking maybe she is trying to elevate her life. Maybe she do want to level up. Maybe she do want to, be more like me because I inspire her. And that's what I'm supposed to be doing anyway, being inspiration. So you can't get mad when you want to influence people and you influence them. So I wasn't really picking up on it to be as serious as it was. Meanwhile, we're rebuilding, we're being very open, we're talking to each other, we're meeting up. But one thing about this person was, you know how one of the 48 laws of power is stay away from the unhappy and the unlucky. This person was mad unlucky, yo. Like, a lot of bull stuff would be happening to them back to 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 back. So, it never really dawned on me, again, y'all, until you have the realization and then everything starts to add up after that point, right? So, person always had a lot going on, started copying me, etc., etc. Meanwhile, the family member is sending me the stuff about their business, etc., etc. I'm starting to notice the little shade, all types of stuff, right? So these things are going on simultaneously. Meanwhile, right after y'all, my uncle passes away. If you know, you know, my uncle, I wrote a story about him in my book. He was a real big support. Like, and I'm not talking about like, you know, like, he was a real big support. He came through for me. Like, when we lived in Philly, that was my ace boon coon. Look, y'all, I got a thing of him. So cute, right? So cute. But yeah, and it was so unexpected, y'all. Like, it was literally like a freak accident, I would say. But I don't really want to go into specifics about that because I feel like that's not my place. That's my mother's place. That was her brother, and that's just a touchy subject. But it does have something to do with the story, especially because I said spiritual warfare. Gotta think about it outside the box, y'all. We're not thinking about things surface level. We're thinking of things being spiritual, okay? So the unexpected, that happened unexpectedly, right? That was devastating, actually. Like, that was the first thing that ruined my momentum because it hit me. But it was just crazy, y'all. I can't explain it. But yeah, so I feel like it was the beginning and the end of the new Mimi, right? So, boom, that ended up happening. So now I'm dealing with that. I'm trying to be there for my mom, etc. Meanwhile, I got this stuff going on with the girl. But right before my uncle passed away, this person literally told me that this friend, that they were doing witchcraft. They did witchcraft on somebody. So I'm again, y'all know I don't play with none of that demonic stuff. I'm God's girl all the way. We ain't doing no flurry lines. Certain stuff I won't even fool with, crystals and all that, because it's too on the line. I don't do all that. You know, I feel as though all you need is God and the word of God just for guidance, because even, you know, the Bible, discrepancies, right? Okay, for lack of better words or not wanting to offend anyone, this person told me that, and I kind of just went by it like, okay, that's interesting. I think anybody that will use witchcraft in order to mess with God's free will, you will be punished. You cannot, number one, you're not supposed to be doing witchcraft, using manipulation, any of those things. Number two, you cannot be doing witchcraft on people. Like, what? So that was the first, that was like, whoa. And you know how they say, when people are doing evil deeds, like, when the devil's people are doing evil deeds and stuff like that, they have to tell you what's going on. So, in my mind, after, like, once I put it all together, I was thinking, like, maybe that was, like, a vomit, like, because who would just come out and tell somebody that? I don't care. Like, I'm never doing that. Number two, no shade, but that is like deep internal mental conflict. And y'all, I'm only telling y'all this because I really want y'all to protect yourselves. Like, this world is so spiritual and it's so demonic right now. That's why people are seeing mermaids and they're talking about aliens. These are all demons. The world is demonic right now. I don't know if the veil is thin, so we're starting to see things that were supposed to be hidden from us. That's part of what I think is going on. But also, the Bible talks about a time like this where things will be way more apparent. That's why it's so important to be divinely guided, to be divinely guided and in touch with God, in touch with your inner self, doing the work prior to now. That's why I pushed it so hard. Doing the work, doing the work, doing the work, right? So, this person told me that, and I kind of just, it didn't impact me. I really was nonchalant about it, genuinely, because I am not a judgmental friend. That's the one thing about being in my energy, baby. I'm going to tell you how I feel, but if I see that you're at a place, like at a bottom, I'm not going to I'm not that type. I don't pile on. If you want to volunteer information to me, I'm not going to give unsolicited advice unless you ask me for it. And I think I could do better. I just try to be more supportive and being that friend that I feel like you can talk to about anything. So when they said it, it wasn't even like a full conversation that we had. It was just like a blurt. And I'm like, oh, interesting, right? Boom. So all of this is going on simultaneously. Finally, one day I hit up my family member that I had been having this disdain in my heart towards. This was after my uncle passed away, right? So when I hit the cousin up, I'm like, yo, what is going on? Because I feel like on your page, I feel like it's a lot of shady stuff going on here. And I just feel like we have unresolved things that we need to handle. And I need to get this off my chest. I need to get this off my heart. So we ended up talking, having a great conversation. We add each other on social media. Everything is going good until I realized this person also is on some BS. But I should have known that. Any two people that would sit on the phone and talk about a common person, they're both your enemy. And that is one thing. Like, you would think that it was like, duh, me. But again, in a time like this, especially after everything I've been through, but I think that is also why I am so favored by God and anybody else. God is looking at your heart posture. He is not looking at performance. He is not looking at how well you follow the rules and this and that people have tried to make you believe. It's either you got that heart or you don't. But I think when you have an untainted, genuine heart posture, that's what I'm saying. The devil is going to do everything that they can to make your heart cold, right? So, and my heart never goes cold. That's why I was able to forgive these people and welcome them back in. All genuine on my end. But you got to understand, people be plotting and planning, especially witches and warlocks. Okay? So, ended up forgiving the person. I start seeing weird stuff again. Like, basically, you know how you know somebody's subbing you, but they will never admit that they're subbing you, but you know they're subbing you because it's like, I'll go to the gym. I could never go to the gym. Gym ain't for me. I go get a sandwich. I hate sandwiches. Sandwiches are not for me, but then they'll say that they're not talking about you. Weird shit, y'all. Weird. So all of that was going on. So simultaneously, I had told the friend, right? This was after the comment about, mind you, when my uncle passed away, there was a situation where I was sitting in a car and this person was making it seem like they were doing astral projections. At the time, I didn't correlate the two, but again, y'all, I'm heavy on research. When something happens to me, the first thing I'm going to try to do is figure it out. I'm not one of them that, no, I'm going to go to God. I'm going to say, God, help me see. Help me see. Help me see what's going on in the background. Put me in the game. Put me in the game, coach. Right? So this person was like, I see you. You're at the gas station. You're sitting there. You're crying about your uncle. Your husband just did, like, and it was so weird because they were accurate. Literally what was going on. Now, I don't know if they're pretending witch in training and they just only told me that they did witchcraft at one time. But anybody that would attempt witchcraft and say that their witchcraft had an effect, but it was the adverse one, I don't think that would be the first or last time you're doing witchcraft, in my opinion. Because the fact that you even took it that far in the beginning worries me. I done got my heart broken thousands of times. Ain't nothing ever in me say, you know what, I'm going to put a hex on him. Or I'm going to put a love spell on them. Like, huh? No, I be saying, God, heal me. Get this man out of my mind. I don't want him no more. He don't want me. Get him away from me. I can't relate. No shade, though. Seriously. Educational purposes only. So, they were like making it seem like they were astral projecting. So, that happened, right? But already, again, y'all, my intuition, very strong, very strong, very, very, very strong, very strong. One of those people that feel energy. You could be smiling, but behind the smile, you're frowning. And I can feel that, literally. It's bad with me. That's why I don't even like it sometimes. Like, I be like, God, why? Why? But, you know, it's a gift. And I'm grateful for it. But, so I had already been feeling weird energy from them. Like there were certain situations that were happening. They will always be comparing their life to mine. Like, I'm developing a better, you know, relationship with certain people around me, like my mom and dad, my parents or whatever. And they'll be like, I wish I had that with my parents. Like, so it just started to get a little strange to me, especially when the astral projection happened. So I started to like create distance between me and the person. And in their mind you, one thing that I found very strange was they waited until mind you, I'm watching videos about witches and how they act when you, like, narcissists too, and how they act when you create distance once you start to get onto them. And everything that they were saying that they do were things that this person started to do. So they had a Facebook. They tried to add me on Facebook months later. This was because I started creating distance between me and the person. I kept making it seem like everything was all good, but I was just creating distance because I really wanted to get to the bottom of it. I didn't want to overreact. I didn't want to assume. I really wanted God to tell me and show me. And that's what I was doing. I was asking God, please just show me, right? Meanwhile, me and the family member go into a whole public fallout, y'all. And this video is already long, so I might need to do a part 2, y'all. I want to see if y'all really care about because I do a lot of inspiration, but I want to, like I said, I want to start getting personal. But anyway, I might have to do a part 2. But meanwhile, me and the family member is falling out because I deleted them off of Facebook. And then we going live back and forth. It was just a whole smear campaign. That family member lied about everything. So that is definitely a witch. That is definitely a narcissist. Like, that person definitely was on a demonic assignment, because the stuff that they were saying, I was so confused. Like, first of all, we never talked about those things. They were talking about me not having insurance on my car. And this is how you know that God will literally stamp you right in front of your enemies, y'all. Because right after that, I got into a car accident. I was devastated. Like, it was like all this stuff. And so during the smear campaign, the person lied. Just let's just put it out there. But I was literally so calm. I really felt like it was God showing me. It was literally God showing me that I had changed. Because it's like when you're living in your own body, you can only go by what people tell you. And right now, compliments are not very frequent unless you're around strangers. Like when I go out, oh, I like this, I like that, I like that. But I'm saying like real compliments, like you've grown so much, you've matured so much. Right now, people are so miserable and bitter and like not at peace internally that they don't even say stuff like that. So it was God really showing me, like, look how much you've changed, because I didn't even have the ability to be the way I used to when I be yelling and cussing and doing what she was doing. Like, I did go on her live and say some choice things, but they were true. Everything I don't lie on people, y'all. Like, if I say you're ugly in an argument, baby, you're ugly. No shade. But that's a whole nother, y'all. It was just so much going on. I was arguing with people from years ago, like my husband's exes. All this was going on simultaneously. My uncle passing away, me and this family member making up and then falling out, and she doing a full smear campaign. I'm not one that's going to try to prove myself when God already stamped me. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. You either going to resonate with it or you're not. And that's okay. I might not be for you. You're not for everybody. And that's the problem, right? So all of these things was going on simultaneously. The icing on the cake, y'all, was literally when it was the same night of my uncle's memorial, right? And the friend was supposed to help with my uncle's memorial. But again, the witchcraft and all of that, I don't feel like that was the environment. You know, while I'm suffering, they are energy harvesters. Like those people that are on demonic assignment, they are energy harvesters. They are harvesting your good, genuine energy, right? That's what they need you for. They need your energy. And that person will always say that to me, like, your energy is just like when I'm in your energy. So it's like the signs were there, but again, you don't know until you know, right? So I'm like, that's just not the joint I'm trying to do right now. Like, I need to figure this out. I'm going to create some distance with this person. So I didn't invite them. I didn't tell them about it. Mind you, I had previously invited them, but I didn't really uninvite them. I just went without them and not really communicating with them. So that same night, y'all, and this is why it's so important to listen to what it says in the Bible, even if you don't believe in the King James or whomever wrote the Bible. I just think that it is a really good way to set up how you should live your life. Just like if you're in addiction and you have the 12 steps, NA and AA, it's just, helpful advice on how you should live a structured, non-chaotic life. And that's why I think that's why it says in the Bible, you should always be of a sober mind. Because, when you're in sin, that is literally the devil's playground. When you're opening up the portal to sin, you're allowing these demonic entities to take control of you, especially through liquor, spirits, wine and spirits. That was the same night I crashed my car, right? By the grace of God, y'all, the way that this all went down, I know it. I am so blessed. My car was able to get fixed through my insurance company. I thought they was going to total my car out because, Benz repairs are super duper 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 expensive. So it was just a blessing how everything went down. I only had to pay $250. Nothing but God. Nothing but God, y'all. It's nothing but God. But let me tell you how this all went down. I was backsliding. I was going back to my old ways. I should have took my grown behind home to my kids. But I was out. I don't get out much. It was a fun night besides that, honestly. And I don't blame anybody but myself. But when it happened, y'all, mind you, I had turned my location off from the friend because I felt as though I had been, like I said, I already came to my conclusion that I felt like this person was actually trying to do either destiny swapping, like love spell. I don't know what kind of hex they were trying to do on me, but I think because I believe because I'm protected by the blood of Jesus, that it wasn't really able to hit me until I opened up that door by drinking, by doing things that the Bible tells you, do it at your own risk, baby, because this is how you're opening up them portals to allow these hexes and things to get you, right? So that night I had been turned my location off from the person. And that's how I knew the person knew that I was creating distance, but they were trying to be nonchalant about it. Like, it's all manipulation with these people. It's all manipulation, right? That same night, I had to turn my location back on because I was dropping people off, picking people up. I had to put addresses in my GPS, etc. Soon as I turned my location on, like a couple, like on the way to take the people back or whatever, that was when the whole, and the way that the accident happened, y'all, like, this was, in my opinion, it was crazy. It was weird. It was creepy. I don't do stuff like that. I don't crash. I wasn't going fast. It was literally a minor fender bender. I drove my car all the way back home. But I think if it would have went through the way that it was supposed to, I was supposed to be losing my car, losing everything, losing my uncle. Like, it was supposed to be a destiny swap. But you can't. Like, destiny swapping, number one, destiny swapping is not real if you're covered by the blood of Jesus. Your destiny is your destiny. Only God can control that. The only thing that they can do is delay. They can delay, and they can delay for as long. You know how people get stuck in drug addiction and, they're in a trance for half their lives and then they finally wake up? I really do believe that that is like forms of destiny swap and stuff like that. But they can't have your complete destiny. They can't. That would make God not powerful. And even when they told me about the witchcraft, I really believe that they were warning me. Like, they have to be vocal about what they're doing. Just like we say about, these elites and stuff like that. And when they're doing these things, they have to announce it. It has to be something that they say out loud in order to, like, it's a spiritual law, right? So I felt like it was like giving half the truth. I don't believe anybody can destiny swap with you, but I think that person was trying to do the same hexes on me. And I really believe that that's why I even came back to try to mend the relationship. And maybe even the thing that happened to me in order for me to feel like I needed to mend the relationship might have been part of the whole thing, you know, because I had just gotten baptized, all types of stuff. So the person could have been did these things, but it was just now only because I was slipping back into my old ways, only because I was allowing the demonic entities to have too much information and access to me. Because when she didn't have access to me, you understand what I mean? Follow me, right? So I believe that the person did that, because as soon as I crashed, right, this was so weird. This was what made it like, I'm done. Mind you, I'm already pissed about my car. So the person texted me, was like, hey, is everything okay? This was immediately after, y'all. Hey, is everything okay? Why are you just walking around over Northside? So I'm like, yeah, it's a wrap. Like after that, it was done. Like I just cut them off. And then they waited. I took them off of Instagram. First, I kept them on Instagram. They were just watching me. And it just was feeling creepy. Like, you know how you get that feeling in your gut? Like, take them off, because they don't need no access to you, your energy. I was already mad. I felt like I was down bad. My car had to go into the shop for a month. I had to get a rental. Thank God I got my car back now. I'm feeling better. Like, and I was just getting beat down, y'all, with that spiritual warfare. I was getting beat down. But I still was working. Like I said, I had my first, so God was still uplifting me. It was so weird, because right in the midst of that, I had somebody had emailed me and was like, hey, we want you to speak. We found you on Facebook. So it was a realization also for me, because even when all this was going on and I was going through the smear campaign with my family member, it was like God was proving to the world, nah, that one is mine. Because it was like I couldn't respond. I couldn't even afford. And that's why I'm going to do another video about the death of my ego, y'all. I'm going to do that video on Monday. But because this was an ego death like no other. And when you have an ego death, prepare to rebrand. You about to go up. I'm telling you right now. So if you're going through intensive spiritual warfare right now, smear campaigns, attempts at, humiliation rituals, etc., you're about to go up. God is granting you access to that season he promised you. So trust the process. Stay grounded in the word of God. Y'all, I was dropping down to my knees. Even when it came to my car and getting updates on the estimates, because I did not want them to total my car just because of the amount it was going to cost in order to fix it. It's a Benz, y'all. But by the grace of God, it was so much strange things happening. During all of that, it was like I still had access to everything God was promising me. So I couldn't afford to clap back at her. So who wants to be sitting up looking like a hypocrite? And then I had to go speak in a week. No, that was dumb. That was me. That was somebody's attempt to get me to self-sabotage. So I didn't even react like that, baby. I still haven't reacted. This will be my only reaction, first and last. And this is only to help somebody. It's not to, those people, be blessed, honestly. And I really mean that from the bottom. Be blessed, baby. I hope God blesses you just as much as he blesses me, right? Because I really want you to come up out of that. I want you to come up out of that demonic stuff. I want you to come up out of those demonic assignments. I want you to stop allowing access to these demonic entities through all of this witchy, all of them readings. Like, that's the stuff that my family member was doing. So once I start seeing they were like self-righteous through readings, like they use readings to solidify themselves. Anytime you see somebody that is very spiritually manipulative and tries to act like they put themselves at a higher standard because of readings and spirituality, and they try to find any way to be better than people, that is a sign, number one, somebody is in spiritual psychosis. And then number two, they're in a self-righteous religious state of mind. Like, you can't trust nobody like that. Because a real spiritual person is going to be free. A real spiritual person is going to have grace. A real spiritual person is going to be open. A real spiritual person is not able to tear somebody down like in the way that she was trying to. It was like she was trying to annihilate my character. And they were lying. She was lying. Like, anytime somebody is, how didn't I have insurance? Like, Do y'all know how much? It was $14K to get my car fixed. Do you think I was putting $14K if I had full coverage? Who buys a Benz and doesn't get full coverage? So everything the person was saying was just literally lies. But that was a smear campaign. They were attempting to basically take my destiny, put me in a place of lack, disdain, have people looking at me weird. That is a humiliation ritual, y'all. So I say all this to say, because I'm going to end the video here. It's already an hour. Love yourself. Protect yourself. Everybody doesn't deserve access to you. Everybody doesn't deserve any of those things, right? Everybody doesn't deserve access to you. Everybody doesn't deserve your energy. Everybody doesn't deserve your grace. Everybody doesn't deserve access to your anointing. Stay guarded in this season. Stay in your Bible. Stay on your knees, okay? Stay in that prayer room, okay? Because it was nothing but God that got me through all of these situations at once, y'all. It was nothing but God. And now we're going into the spring equinox. I feel so refreshed, renewed. This was God's plan for my life. Nobody can take God's plan for your life as long as you are also following the plan. 50-50, 50% partnership. You have to also do the work. Even though I was going through spiritual warfare, I was still showing up. You would never think that anything was going on. Even when I didn't barely respond to the people that were trying to smear me, I moved on with life after that. And I literally do not care. Like, I literally don't care. And that's because God granted me peace. Only God can grant you peace, okay? So make sure you're being guarded and you're spiritually protecting yourself in this season. And as far as the situation that I went through, like I said, once that situation happened, I cut both of them off. Neither one of them have access to me. Neither one of them can get near me ever again. The friend tried to do the little manipulative stuff that they did as far as like the long messages, the crying, but I wasn't trying to hear it because at this point, do me wrong once, shame on you. Do me wrong twice, literally shame on me, yo. Like literally shame on me, especially because when we're talking about somebody that is operating on a demonic assignment and, you know, in witchcraft and all of that, God bless you, baby. Just really shared this testimony as help for somebody else that may be going through the same thing. There's another girl on my TikTok that talks about this a lot. And I think that a lot more people are scared to talk about it because people look at you like you're a conspiracy theorist or you're overly. No, you have to be realistic, y'all. Like the problem that we're having right now is that people don't want to look at reality. They want to try to like find a way for confirmation bias, like to explain it with logic, and there is no logical explanation. It's very spiritual, okay? So the way you've been feeling, you right. Don't deny it. Don't second guess it. You're right and get away from them. You are correct. I could have prevented myself from even going through all of this, but then again, it's like everything I go through really like shapes me into the next version of myself, right? So be careful of people that want to be you. Be careful of people that overly praise you. Be careful of people that are simply like clout chasing off of your alignment and your assignment, right? Like steer clear of those people. Right now, you should probably be in another season of isolation. I know we all just went through this. We just went through this like a year or two ago. If we all listen, the collective, if you know, we all just went through this. But I think this is another season where isolation is key. And if you're not isolated, you need to be getting in rooms where people are actually in alignment, resonate with you. Like one of my main things, y'all, I'm going to start doing is trying new things. Like, new activities with people in wellness, people that are in the same thing as me. And even with my speech, y'all, it was like through my speech, God showed me, see, look, this is where you're going. Stop going back to where you were. Like the way those women embraced me, and it was men there too. They loved me. I couldn't leave, y'all. They wanted all of their books signed. They had so many questions for me. It showed me that I had never been, having a wrong strategy or needed a better strategy. No, I was just talking to the wrong people. I was too clinging on to the past. I was wanting recognition from people who never will recognize me. It don't matter how far I go up, they're never going to give me my flowers. They never are. It's called envy. It's called jealousy, right? So steer clear. Envy and jealousy is rampant right now. Destiny swapping attempts, rampant right now. People are harvesting energy, rampant right now. Stay guarded, stay protected, stay rooted in God. And I'll be back with another video, y'all. I'll be back with a part 2. Ask me questions down below. Tell me how y'all felt about this video. I know it was overly personal, but listen, if it helps just one person, I did what I was supposed to do. I love you so much. Have a wonderful, prosperous day, and I will see you in the next video.